Hello, Sari Puhakka here. Welcome to my very first lesson on palmistry, and this is going to be focused on my first book, which is Character Awareness. So we are going to be talking about how to instantly or quickly recognize certain character, which is really handy when you're first meeting someone. So it's like first impressions. You don't really want to be obviously just staring at people's hands or saying, "Oh, give me a look at your hands." That it's a bit rude. But most people, when they first meet somebody, they like to shake their hand. So when you shake hands, you're straight away getting an impression of the personality. How cool is that? So if you've ever followed my website, destinypalmistry.com, you would have probably read some of my articles that I have, and I've often talked about different parts of the hand and things like that. If you've never seen my website, go ahead and look through there. I have got, I don't even know how many, I've got probably 60 or 70 blog stories there for you to read through and get some interesting facts. But these lessons, you might want to take notes if you've got a notebook and pen, and just take notes. At the end, if I remember, I'll do a summary of everything in case you missed something, or you can always stop and rewind, of course. So anyway, first impressions. You meet somebody, you shake hands. First thought, feels normal. If the skin feels the same as yours, you think, oh yeah, feels the same. It doesn't feel softer or harder. Feels the same. So that probably gives you an idea that that personality is similar to your own. So say, for instance, you have average skin. And average skin, usually on a woman, or say if it was on a man, it might be somebody who's like an office worker or a politician, but not like a labourer. So an average skin, which is not soft, not silky, not rough, it just feels like paper. So using paper as coarseness level, sandpaper, not sandpaper, just normal paper, and shaking hands, it feels the same as yours. If yours feels like just regular paper, that usually is very casual, social, easy to get along with person, and that they not overly sensitive and not overly aggressive either. So a nice balance. So then when you get the skin that starts to get a little bit rougher, so you got slightly rough but not like coarse, so that's when you start to get a little bit more of a tougher personality. And going the opposite way, very thin, if it feels thin and slippery like silk, really delicate, that would be a very quiet and receptive, gentle person. They'd be very sensitive. Sometimes, like, psychics are actually quite receptive and sensitive. So a psychic might have really smooth, silky hands. However, if the smooth, silky hand feels soggy, you get the soft, flabby, it feels like a wet bag, like there's not even bones in there. If it feels like there's literally, you're not even holding a real hand, then that can mean a lot of things, okay? One, it could be just that they're a lazy person who dreams about everything but never does anything. They just procrastinate. It could show ill health. There may be something wrong with them. It shows nervousness, usually, not a very confident person. And it could also be a vegetarian. Nothing against vegetarians. I'm not one, but I have known vegetarians who just, their hands feel like a little bit soft. So going the other way again, you'll notice a coarse hand if you don't have one. If you have a normal texture skin like paper and you shake hands with somebody with rough skin, you are going to know about it. It's going to feel like sandpaper. It's going to feel dry and hard. It doesn't even feel like skin sometimes, the rough skin. And that's typically only in men. Usually from doing manual work, if they're using their hands, that will occur naturally over time. But if it's not just from their hard work, well, they are hard workers. These are people who love outdoors. They hate sitting inside. They will do anything exciting and interesting as long as they're busy, as long as they're outdoors and using their hands. So it would be not a good relationship match, say if you had this silky, soft skin, delicate hands matched with somebody with really coarse, rough hands, because the personalities would clash too much. The silky, soft hand would want to spend time indoors and romantic dinners and watching TV, and the rough skin wants to go out and do exciting, adventurous things outside, which would be all too much for the sensitive type. So you can see just by those 4, did I say 4? Yeah, 3 or 4 different types of skin texture, very basic understanding. You can straight away tell if this is a go-get-em person, hardworking, if it's a super lazy person, or somewhere in between, if they're just nice and casual social people. So then there's also not just the skin texture, then you've got the thickness of the skin. So you can often feel the thickness by touch because it's either firm, if it's firm and springy and feels strong, well, that's usually what it means. It shows strength. So if they have a firm handshake with like a muscular feel to their hand, they obviously shows that character trait, that they are a strong person. On the other side, if it's very sloppy, very bony feeling, well, obviously there's not much muscular development in the body if the hand is also bony feeling. So it shows weakness physically. There's another thing, masculinity shows on the back of the hand. Obviously, if you have hairs that just go all the way and on the fingers, that shows a lot of masculinity. Rarely do you see hairy hands on women. I don't. Little tiny ones. Yeah, so hairy hand shows masculinity. It shows energy and it shows libido. So if somebody has hairy hands, they will probably have a high libido as well. And for those of you who don't know English much, libido means your sex drive. So I'm going to just pause for a second. I'm back. I just had to pause because I had forgotten something earlier on when I was talking about the soft, soggy skin that feels really floppy. Many people, once they get to an old age, will have this type of skin. So it doesn't mean that they are lazy or they have ill health. It actually just comes with aging. So if you are shaking hands of an 80-year-old woman, she's probably going to have quite soggy feeling hands. So just be aware of that. Also the summary, I actually printed one so that I would remember. So if you have your pens and notepads, if you haven't already, I made the summary up of different types of skin. So we went back to average skin, which feels like paper. These people are receptive and practical, not overly sensitive, casual and social. A smooth skin, which is smoother than paper, so it feels more like silk, that is for a sensitive, quiet, gentle nature. These are definitely the romantic types, although normal skin can be romantics as well. So the coarse skin, which feels a little bit rougher, is a hardworking and practical person, but they can be insensitive. If it's very coarse, you're not going to get much romance or sensitivity out of them. They're the manual worker. They are usually a domineering character. If they happen to be a more quiet type that is not a manual worker, the very coarse skin can actually show long-term stress or a health condition. So just beware of that. Many diseases that are like long-term can cause your skin to go dry and hard. So then there's skin types of thick skin. When you have thick skin, you are thick-skinned, so you can handle things. You have thick skin, you are robust and generally healthy. If it's thin skin, it shows the more sensitivity and not as robust, not always healthy. Actually shows somebody a bit more impatient because they're thin-skinned. They don't have patience for some things. Soft and flabby, can be lazy or physically inactive, unless due to old age, like I said before. And hairy means very masculine. So I hope you've enjoyed that piece of information, and I look forward to doing a new one tomorrow, and I hope you are going to be subscribing. If you already haven't subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. I would love an audience, and to make it worthwhile for me to be doing this for free, I would really appreciate if you can share with your friends and help us out. And I hope you've learned something today. I look forward to seeing you next time for lesson 2. Bye.